I must say, I'm horrified by Talk TV. I've just watched a small interview on Julian Hartley Brewer's program. Apart from the use of a word disporages, I don't think disporages is a word unless it comes from, unless it's some sort of verb derived from Farage. Disporage. No, makes no sense to me. But it's just the incessant thumping on of racism. And in one of her rants, she started off by rightly conceding that not all Albanians are criminals. And she referred to the march on Saturday. Completely fair, she said. And then she went on about the business of the flag draped on the plinth of the statue of Winston Churchill. Well, I've pointed out a few times there's nothing particularly wrong with that. Mr. Farage has tried to whip up a storm about this flag as if it's desecrating the statue of our wartime leader. But of course, the reality is Mr. Churchill was involved in gaining the support and helping the Albanian partisans to wage guerrilla war against the Nazi invaders. The Nazis invaded Albania as well as the Channel Islands, as well as Greece and so on. And that guerrilla war was very much a part of the World War II and the efforts that we were celebrating yesterday. I find it extraordinary that this sort of language is being used against Albania. It was a peaceful demonstration and no harm was done. But Farage and Julia Hartley Brewer are determined to pursue this particular agendum. That disrespect was intended and caused. And she says that this will not endear these people to the British native population, but these people, many of these people, are British nationals now. So what exactly does she mean? Again, there's a racist bias in the language which is chosen. And then the person she was interviewed went on about Albanian criminals and then Albanian terrorists. I'm not aware of any allegations of Albanian terrorism, so the rhetoric is again ramped up by this second-rate channel. What I find so extraordinary is it's only a matter of days since one of their broadcasters asked me why I was not on GB News or Talk TV. And this is really why. I have actually just written a letter to Farage and suggested that we have a chat, if necessary, on camera. But I have no intention. I have no intention of joining the ranks, I think that word should be spelt with an R, of joining the ranks of becoming a GB News, Talk TV News ranker. I have no intention of being ranked with these people. I'm very happy to talk to them, but I have no intention of taking their cash and sprouting the sort of right-wing rhetoric which is completely unfounded in fact. Completely unfounded in fact. I mean, it's bad enough on the BBC. Anybody who was looking at that silly programme that's replaced Andrew Marr, I can't remember what the name of the interviewer is, second rate anyway. But in that programme, Jeremy Hunt yesterday was being interviewed, and there were a series of very clear questions that could be asked, and we almost got there. We almost got to the point where we were asking him, what opportunities has Brexit provided or delivered And the moment we got to that, he ducked. And he said, well, at the point when Brexit was delivered, the party was hit, or the country was hit by the pandemic. No, that wasn't the question. And more than that, the Conservative Party had appointed somebody to deliver on opportunities. That was Jacob Rees-Mogg. And he seems to have delivered even less than Nadine Dorries. So Hunt then went on about the process of outlining what opportunities Brexit has provided has taken longer. But he doesn't list any of these opportunities. What has Brexit provided? Where are these opportunities? This is why I would appreciate an opportunity to talk to Mr. Farage. It's long overdue, that conversation, and I hope he realises that. But Brexit, people will know that Hunt was a Remainer. People know that Truss was a Remainer. Rishi Sunak is not. So surely it's up to Rishi Sunak to come out and tell us what opportunities have been delivered by Brexit. Because so far, we just have silence and excuses. Hunt says, I don't deny there are some costs to Brexit. So, what did we gain? What did we gain? Ending freedom of movement, a 4% drop in GDP, barriers to trade. Well, those are the negatives. Those are the clear negatives at this moment. What are the opportunities? Please, I am on the edge of my seat, itching to know. And a good interviewer, not that Laura, whatever her name is, would have pressed Mr. Hunt to find out. Instead, she let him dither into nothingness. I don't mind niceness. I like niceness. But there are times when one needs to press for an answer. And this was the time to press Mr. Hunt for an answer. I suspect he couldn't give an answer. I suspect there isn't an answer. But we are left with the reality of Brexit, and we need to make the most of it. And if Hunt doesn't have an answer, if Rishi Sunak doesn't have an answer, somebody must. Somebody must. That may be Mr. Farage, in which case Mr. Farage must step up. He must accept a seat in the House of Lords and he must get into government. Somebody must have an answer. What are the opportunities of Brexit and how are we going to deliver those? Because at the moment, all we're doing is whinging about immigration and doing very little about that because we haven't got our paperwork processed. So if we're even going to whinge about immigration, we need to do our work. I think at the moment, the government is busy trying to deflect, trying to pass the buck, trying to draw our attention to anything that distracts from the opportunities of Brexit.